Hi everyone, Kenneth here with Backwoods Plants. Today I want to talk about keeping your Venus flytrap alive. As a child, I was intrigued with these plants. I purchased many over my childhood, and it always was the same outcome. I'd purchase the plant, I'd get it home, a month later the plant was dead. This was all due to me having the lack of knowledge of how to keep these plants alive. Venus flytraps are actually pretty easy plants to keep alive. You just need to know a few key things, and that's why we're here today. So taking care of these plants aren't much different than the needs of other plants as far as light, growing media, and water. The one difference that you don't see with a lot of other plants that the Venus flytrap needs is dormancy, and we will talk about that later. Let's start with water first. Venus flytraps come from North and South Carolina on a very small coastal region where they grow in bogs and marshes that are very nutrient poor. This is the reason why people think the Venus flytrap evolved to eat insects, is to make up those nutrients that are not acquired through the soil. For this reason, you have to use water that has no minerals or chemicals to them whatsoever. It is recommended to use distilled water, which you can easily purchase from any local grocery store, or you can use rainwater that you've collected yourself. People also use reverse osmosis water. You have to be careful with that, as many drinking waters that are reverse osmosis have minerals added to them for taste. You should never let your Venus flytrap dry out. They are accustomed to damp but not waterlogged conditions. One of the most popular methods for accomplishing this are to set your pot in a tray of 1 to 2 inches of water. As the soil dries out, it will draw water up and you will refill the tray as needed. A flytrap acquires its nutrients from 2 different ways. One is from the chlorophyll production from sunlight. The other is from the eating of insects. Many people get their flytrap and they're concerned about feeding it. A flytrap with enough light can go many months without having to eat an insect. There are fish foods and many dried bugs that can be fed to flytraps, but this usually isn't necessary. I would be careful about springing the traps on the flytraps too often, because as this happens, the plant loses energy. Okay, let's talk about growing medium. If you acquired your Venus flytrap from a big box store, it most likely came in a small terrarium type container. These containers are usually fine. I wouldn't leave the tops on them, as they don't need the humidity as much as they need the water. If you decide you want to repot this, you will need peat moss and perlite. Normally you do an 80% mix of peat moss. You want to use an organic type peat moss that has no nutrients added to it. And then perlite, the same thing. You have to be very careful with this, as many products like the Miracle-Gro products and things have nutrients in them. This will kill your plant. Also, you will mix this 80-20 mix of your peat and perlite together well. You want to add your distilled water or your rainwater to the mix before you put it in the pot. This way, when you put your plant in the pot and add water, it won't cause the dry media to suck down lower into the pot. Now that we've talked about water and growing media, all that's left is light and dormancy. You want your plant to get at least 6 hours of direct sunlight a day through the summer, at the least probably 4 hours. If you're growing the plant indoors, you can use fluorescent grow lighting. This can be bought cheaply off of Amazon. During the winter months, it's a little bit different. Venus flytraps need a dormancy period if you want them to live for more than a couple of years. This dormancy period allows them to regain energy needed for the next season. Dormancy is dependent upon the amount of light during the winter months and the temperatures. The shorter days are the biggest driving factor on this. There are different methods for handling dormancy. One is maybe you have a garage with a window that you can put it in so that it's getting the light of the shorter days but not getting the freezing temperatures, because you don't want the plant to get below 40 degrees in the winter or you can cause it to die. If you don't have a garage or a warmer area for your plant for the dormancy period, there are other methods for that. Here at Backwoods Plants, all of our plants go through dormancy in the greenhouse where they get the natural shorter days of winter, but they also stay above 40 degrees. This plant here is an example of a dormant plant. The plant will start to die back in the winter. It's often mistaken to be a dead plant. Many people have thrown them out thinking the plant was dead. This is a needed cycle of the plant, the dormancy period. You can expect most of the larger growth to die back. There may still be some smaller traps that develop, but it will be nothing like its normal cycle through the summer months. There are other methods for inducing this dormancy period. The dormancy normally lasts 3 to 5 months. There's the refrigerator method, and there's many other methods that we have not tested, but can be looked up easily on the internet. I hope this video was informative. Please like or subscribe us. You can also follow us at Backwoods Plants on Instagram or Facebook. We'll list some links below with some of the affiliates on some of the products that we use in these videos. We'll touch subject on carnivorous plants and Venus flytraps and some more in-depth areas soon to come. Thank you guys.